This is today's Bible reading. Hammurabi's eye for an eye, Leviticus 24:19-20. The punishments of Israel's legal system sometimes were based on a system of physical retaliation. The corporal punishments sentenced on the guilty offender were comparable to the injuries which the victim suffered. As the law of Moses states, so shall it be done to him, whether eye for eye or tooth for tooth. Sometimes this law of eye for eye, tooth for tooth is considered to be primitive retaliations. It was designed, however, to protect the helpless from unfair reprisal by the powerful. Once a person had been judged guilty, justice was performed with a complete impartiality. The rich man did not receive a lesser sentence for the same crime as did the poor man. This principle of physical reprisal may have come to Israel through the Amorites, as is suggested by laws from a prominent Amorite king. Hammurabi, or Hammurapi, was the sixth king, 1792 to 1750 BC, of the first dynasty of Babylon. During his long reign, Babylon rose to prominence in southern Mesopotamia. He was part of a group of Amorite rulers, some of whom had taken Babylon before his time. By the end of his reign, Hammurabi was successful in uniting the entire Tigris-Euphrates valley, although much of his empire was lost within a generation after his death. A collection of laws that were sponsored by this Amorite king, now known as the Code of Hammurabi, reflect the same principle of retaliation found in the law of Moses. If a citizen injured another citizen's eye or tooth, Hammurabi's code states, his eye shall be destroyed, or his tooth shall be knocked out. Such retribution is not found in law codes of the Sumerian and Hittites, nor in the laws of Eshnunna. Possibly it comes from a time when Amorite tribes populated both Babylonia and Palestine. Transition the Sabbath years and year of Jubilee. Every seventh year was the Sabbath year in which the land was to lie fallow. Among other things, this practice would prevent soil depletion and the subsequent impoverishment of the farmer. The year of Jubilee came every 50th year. Possibly no systematic harvesting of the produce of the fields was permitted during the seventh or Jubilee years. Although people might eat such produce in the fields, their regular meals were to come from the excess of the previous years. Protecting the weak in the Jubilee year, Leviticus 25:8-17. Every 50th year in Israel was the year of Jubilee. The provisions of this sacred time were intended to maintain economic equality and prevent the concentration of wealth in the hands of a few. In the Jubilee year, if property were not already redeemed, it was to be restored to the original owner. This prevented the creation of great hereditary estates that would have reduced the families of small landholders to the status of serfs. The concept of the Jubilee year in Leviticus 25 bears a general similarity to the suspension of debts, which was a widespread phenomenon in the Old Babylonian period. While the Old Babylonian peoples lived a few centuries before Israel inhabited Canaan, they too were concerned about the equitable distribution of land and the resultant wealth. An old Babylonian literary text, in the form of a letter, describes the conduct of judges during the suspension of debts on behalf of the sun god Shamash. The judges of two city-states, Babylon and nearby Sippar, met at Sippar to read the lawsuits of Sippar citizens. Also to be read were the sale documents for fields, houses, and orchards, which became invalid during the suspension of debts, the Jubilee. In both cultures, there was an awareness that the accumulation of land could result in the oppression of those who were socially and economically weak. In the old Babylonian letter, an individual who had been subsequently wronged wrote to the officials asking that the weak not be handed over to the strong in the presence of my Lord, and for the strong not to oppress the weak. Israel's God Yahweh included a command amongst the stipulations of the Jubilee year. You shall not oppress one another. Now the book of Leviticus chapter 25, the Sabbath of the seventh year. And the Lord spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, When you come into the land which I give you, then the land shall keep a Sabbath to the Lord. 6 years you shall sow your field, and 6 years you shall prune your vineyard, and gather its fruit. But in the seventh year there shall be a Sabbath of solemn rest for the land, a Sabbath to the Lord. You shall neither sow your field, nor prune your vineyard. What grows of its own accord of your harvest you shall not reap, nor gather the grapes of your untended vine. For it is a year of rest for the land, and the Sabbath produce of the land shall be food for you, your male and female servants, your hired man, and the stranger who dwells with you, for your livestock and the beasts that are in your land. All its produce shall be for food. The year of Jubilee. And you shall count 7 Sabbaths of years for yourself, 7 times 7 years, and the time of the 7 Sabbaths of years shall be to you 49 years. Then you shall cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. On the day of atonement you shall make the trumpet to sound throughout all your land, and you shall consecrate the 50th year, and proclaim liberty throughout all the land to all its inhabitants. It shall be a jubilee for you, and each of you shall return to his possession, and each of you shall return to his family. That 50th year shall be a jubilee to you. In it you shall neither sow nor reap what grows of its own accord, nor gather the grapes of your untended vine. For it is the Jubilee, it shall be holy to you. You shall eat its produce from the field. In this year of Jubilee, each of you shall return to his possession. And if you sell anything to your neighbor, or buy from your neighbor's hand, you shall not oppress one another. According to the number of years after the Jubilee, you shall buy from your neighbor, and according to the number of years of crops, he shall sell to you. According to the multitude of years, you shall increase its price, and according to the fewer number of years, you shall diminish its price, for he sells to you according to the number of the years of the crops. Therefore you shall not oppress one another, but you shall fear your God, for I am the Lord your God. Provisions for the 7th year. So you shall observe my statutes and keep my judgments and perform them, and you will dwell in the land in safety. Then the land will yield its fruit, and you will eat your fill and dwell there in safety. And if you say, What shall we eat in the 7th year, since we shall not sow nor gather in our produce? Then I'll command my blessing on you in the 6th year, and it'll bring forth produce enough for 3 years. And you shall sow in the 8th year, and eat all the produce until the 9th year. Until its produce comes in, you shall eat of the old harvest. Redemption of property. The land shall not be sold permanently, for the land is mine, for you are strangers and sojourners with me. And in all the land of your possession you shall grant redemption of the land. If one of your brethren becomes poor and has sold some of his possession, and if his redeeming relative comes to redeem it, then he may redeem what his brother sold. Or if the man has no one to redeem it, but himself becomes able to redeem it, then let him count the years since its sale, and restore the remainder to the man to whom he sold it, that he may return to his possession. But if he is not able to have it restored to himself, then what was sold shall remain in the hand of him who bought it until the year of Jubilee. And in the Jubilee it shall be released, and he shall return to his possession. If a man sells a house in a walled city, then he may redeem it within a whole year after it is sold. Within a full year he may redeem it. But if it is not redeemed within the space of a full year, then the house in the walled city shall belong permanently to him who bought it throughout his generations. It shall not be released in the Jubilee. However, the houses of villages which have no wall around them shall be counted as the fields of the country. They may be redeemed, and they shall be released in the Jubilee. Nevertheless, the cities of the Levites, and the houses in the cities of their possession, the Levites may redeem at any time. And if a man purchases a house from the Levites, then the house that was sold in the city of his possession shall be released in the Jubilee. For the houses and the cities of the Levites are their possession among the children of Israel. But the field of the common land of their cities may not be sold, for it is their perpetual possession. Leading to the poor. If one of your brethren becomes poor and falls into poverty among you, then you shall help him like a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with you. Take no usury or interest from him, but fear your God, that your brother may live with you. You shall not lend him your money for usury, nor lend him your food at a profit. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, to give you the land of Canaan, and to be your God. The law concerning slavery. And if one of your brethren who dwells by you becomes poor, and sells himself to you, you shall not compel him to serve as a slave. As a hired servant and a sojourner he shall be with you, and shall serve you until the year of Jubilee. And then he shall depart from you, he and his children with him, and shall return to his own family. He shall return to the possession of his fathers, for they are my servants, whom I brought out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as slaves. You shall not rule over him with rigor, but you shall fear your God. And as for your male and female slaves, whom you may have, from the nations that are around you, from them you may buy male and female slaves. Moreover, you may buy the children of the strangers who dwell among you, and their families who are with you, which they beget in your land, and they shall become your property. And you may take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them as a possession. They shall be your permanent slaves. But regarding your brethren, the children of Israel, you shall not rule over one another with rigor. Now if a sojourner or stranger close to you becomes rich, and one of your brethren who dwells by him becomes poor, and sells himself to the stranger or sojourner close to you, or to a member of the stranger's family, after he is sold, he may be redeemed again. One of his brothers may redeem him, or his uncle's son may redeem him, or anyone who is near of kin to him in his family may redeem him. Or if he is able, he may redeem himself. Thus he shall reckon with him who bought him. The price of his release shall be according to the number of years. from the year that he was sold to him until the year of Jubilee. It shall be according to the time of a hired servant for him. If there are still many years remaining, according to them, he shall repay the price of his redemption from the money with which he was bought. And if there remain but a few years until the year of Jubilee, then he shall reckon with him, and according to his years, he shall repay him the price of his redemption. He shall be with him as a yearly hired servant, and he shall not rule with rigor over him in your sight. And if he is not redeemed in these years, then he shall be released in the year of Jubilee, he and his children with him. For the children of Israel are servants to me. They are my servants, whom I brought out of the land of Egypt. I am your Lord. Amen. This is the end of the Bible reading today. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. God bless you. And to see you tomorrow again.